And obey me anyone more at the Komoy free. But you open baby, ube who am watching crying, I won't cry. Ube Coco come live ATTC school in Chayape. Now, when the bay port in Common free, 5,000 Ghana cedis and above, you stand a chance of having a fixed deposit investment account with Bayport Savings alone. The whole day, I don't pay. Only one more any income or not one more energy was so bad. But your friend one pay on 0245 153283 0245 153283 and after 0263 007 922 0263 007 922. Now when the Bayport Savings and Loans sending from one pay. Now one more ebeje was so yeba. Namina imbus about Mr. For as your post needed drone on here. But I don't pay syphilis na Hawaii gonorrhea. Pressure war was so stroke, waist pain, fatigue. Oh yeah, Jumaka Caribbean now wabre. Treat the area malaria na HH1 no pay. Only a year imbus about Mr. Any income but when Sanka woman in a very simple effect. If they boost the immune system no matter what they should come about nipedia. Your body system is able to fight it. Your system now you will real car wana and the one last talk I opposing in a drone. You must about Mr. Green and I pay SSL Uma Wunsa a Kemi Ora Heba shops pharmacy and the chemical shops are who do Nama Wunsa and Kemi. But you open the door where to a town, open the door where you do it. For Imbus for on 0246 208496 0246 208496. Now when the Imbus in come on and pay. Number one immune system booster on the Ghanaian market. One more Daroma and I'll pay one more Appiah. We have been watching the canopy. Good morning.
Mr. Speaker, the only speaker.
Right from watching and pay.
Mr. Speaker.
Already go. And pay you can't help the speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
But you're sending some of it now. Your test line on 055 0567 929 055 0567 929. And no any numbers I don't pay your dear on WhatsApp and I pay SMS. But what doing training in no ebra you be jacking kind in the amount on this same network now and pay your chimney any wedding come. But there's a lot of tension between parents of a year senior high school student our Mwasi resort Wayek for a withholding for a very long time. Now say yeah cause the National Union of Ghana Student NUGS at the Wamoho Ajisa and Komwemo. Last week we made mention and then we told you sir Oko Kumasi last week awofo ahodo pina no ekohie mo ewo eye Wayek for Atenaye ewo Kumasi in the Ashanti regional capital. Now the concerns were that students no resort no akemwache and up to date enya dia Wayek for eka bibia and the actual student no any parent no entirely. We are told sir Wayek any student ni bi enya nkita hodie womo interview womo just to understand the kwanya e fa so more practices are a course so during the examination period ninyina no etimi SCC. Yeah. But this morning as we speak NUGS is not so much happy about the development because many of the students will need their results to be able to apply to the respective tertiary institutions. And Amasan Kobono Akwakoye Nsembebre will be going to Wayek and they will be speaking to them shortly. Na yeni NUGS Fonso Eddie and Komo na yebisa se San Komo nyina no ehe ana eko akwakosi because say ye ka say awofo no ani nye kra na it looks as if say challenges ba na eba enti stay with us na anope ye ne wo any enkomo mpacho medical card show that your numbers 0550567929 0550567929 and no any numbers are ye de juma anope enti wadwen training nyina no ebetimi aba and the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Right Honorable Aban Bagbin, rescinded his decision on the suspension of 4 members of Parliament earlier last week and our latter part of last week, or they yeah. Now we'll go into the Parliament of Ghana. Now Yetien Koba and Speaker Bagbin Edi, now after I mean the work of Parliament and some of the issues are SEC in time past, how do we regulate the people for such events not to occur again in that particular chamber? And no one come more honoma and pay your bedi now and Parliament approve the president's nominees for respective ministries and over bare 5 ministers to 6 and yaji wamunyano etumo ewo omaino emra shebedwafie eno hon komo ewo ho. Many of them are taking their positions this morning ewo eye respective offices, but as well many are asking the questions dabe and a deputy ministerial appointment and also ebeba, because seemingly say ye kase looks as if say a bad ministerial appointment nedia appointment committee aye wo mo ho adwuma nyina ewie ama approvals ni nyina nso etime aba. What is left deputy ministers wo mo ko akwakoboa wo mo substantive ministers at the respective sectors of the economy na afi etime aboa ma amamuo and so etime atoaso enti will come back and then have that conversation na anope yene nyina edin komo, but ubetime ede wadwenche ede aba 0550567929 0550567929 and any numbers are pay bede juma on WhatsApp and SMS console no so what the messages in the bar na ya can we are live on Facebook on Kessben 92.9 with a live stream and our face we are live on Digital TV on Aseda TV and once again ma menda munyina ase na mame Emma Kwame action once again Kwame Maji
so Kwame
and every soko
men koye so ka sa men komra dey aso we no me the tan kwanchen se meduma ba wa na kai meduma ba yes me be ba no na fede o munyina obia yes o de ha de dem so dem nyɛ saa na mpɛ no yes ana mpɛ no mo enkai bo kakra na wo ho enkai bo kakra na wo ho
ba yi nkomo
atiefo be kai ya
yes
break kakra ni ana yenua ya de nyina Jeffrey Botwe enyame to nsafrɛ no eni sei na abusua aye hyehyɛ no
okay
ɛna mpɛ de to amanfo anim enhyɛ nie abusua ne sɛ nyame ya dom a efie dede anim ɛyɛ busumi wom ne de to sonson ana ombi
Jeffrey as I say which meant you for
say okay Jeffrey abranti a ne nyina wa dwuma mu ha a head of camera
okay
yo dwuma na fitikumase ba akra ha ene ade one Kessben dwuma mfie bebre ana nyankopon eto nsa efrɛ no ɛyɛ November bosumi no mu na afei twa mu no afei na abusua aye na yie no ho hyehyeye bi nso ababeka yensa na sade abusua ese no omu ede yawo ene areho ese obi bia yie se nyame ya adom a eye efiada edi yanimu yi abusumi wo me de to so enso ana omu ebeyi no na fe yadeda no ama adofo abehwe nani echi ne menme da bosumi ya ewu ne de to so nwotwe ne menme da sada no na yabe na yie ana yaba kopɛ ne korabre ewo weja amusie ye hone ba akwa kosie no ye wi na busua sa betena se ewo eye odesan akoto lante Methodist Church asafo a ewo ho no eho Wesley Methodist ho na bibibia bekoso fie ho na bibibia bekoso ye wi be sa ba betena se ho na fi yanom ne sikasa ne kwasi ada ne asaba betena se ewo ho ti se de busua aye hyehyɛ ni ntom de awerɛho ese omanfo se obi bia eduru ho a Kessben ade ato yani ye listeners muranem koboa yen na jafuja ma nsia e wachiri a nkola no so enketinkete pa ene oba kunafo a ye gya na chi oba Florence na da ko a one kunafo a chese jafuja na chi nti nkai bo no eno no nyame adom a efie da yani mu ana ye nua Jeff na memre da yesie no aye na yi anom sikasa kwasi ada ne asa anom sikasa etwa to okura nti esre se duru ho ameboa yen
Lambefi owo since amansan kom right obi abekom but nyame fa ne cry you see o kasa ni nyina mani akoto nani mo
yes obi a Jeff yes obi awu a ye kana chiri asempa na emum ono de ade a me de beka no de bia ye na ho brase Jeff yo bone a ana ye no bone cross me pa chewo eno ene ade a ye nyina de be kan na me say sa na obi a so be kan titiro ni asofo no omudi djuma amanfo no omudi djuma nyankopon won fa na kransie eye
eba no kose mabusian so yako ye ba ye nyina ye ho yako nyame adoma weekend we'll be there to support na yakoja yenua nechi etibo amopa yasem no mabua especially your listeners and your viewers no omo ehwe dwumadi we titio
okay
ya betra ha no ma se nkrofo wa kire omo so ye adwuma no enti no omo na ama adwuma na chese yesu ya ama adwuma enti no sanet obi adwuma bi a oye wa ha bia ho
ehia
na ninyi na abua we dey oti akiri a wo chinchima on Facebook they all regulatory cameras no ewo studio ha what you say ti yenua no yinkai bono na yade atu TV
enti ma mensa mom bia ni biem eye asafo ache na Tew Road eye opposite Wesley Methodist Church Accra post office wo de na ehwa ne wo na opposite wa na ye no enti memne dade ache kura no nkron na yenyina ye wo ho edamase
okay
na
Kwame mame nase na menkoye adwumai emra but weekend will be there to support na afeyetimi aboa medical culture that I said there is a lot of confusion between a year Wayek and parent of a year wards ya withholding one exams result mamene ora Daniel eni enkomo ono ye national NUGS president na anope ye misa say what has been the engagement so far with the West African Examination Council. Danny Otemeka, good morning, that's saying.
Good morning, Minya. I don't boko Michelle and TFO so
a TFO so Ejo. So first off, tell us, as NUGS, what is your major concern about the happenings so between Wayek and parent of student withholding your result for some time now?
The major concern three or four fold. Now on the 29th, WAEC released the results and my research committee draw my attention to a few things. I'm the reports in the Bremen. And the concerns I had was with the large numbers of withheld results. And then the cancellation of entire results for isolated cases of malpractice. And so from where I stood, I felt I needed to engage WAEC. Okay. So on the 2nd of January, and a metro letter, and I emailed it to WAEC to their effect. These are our concerns at the National Union of Ghana Students. After doing that, they reached out to me. And we had a meeting on the 10th. And I reiterated in Yama a letter drawing their attention, said the number of withheld results on a dozen. These were 319 schools.
319 schools.
Exactly.
Okay.
319 schools. And so we were concerned. And our Master Council 483 entire results of candidates. And I drew the attention, first and foremost, for me and at NUGS, we are not saying they shouldn't do their work. If people have colluded or copied or the rest, they are very right to investigate and do their work.
Okay.
But once you have released some of the results and some are going to school, there's a possibility that those whose results you have withheld may be innocent. So what if by the time you release the results, admission is over? So those were our concerns to them. And they gave me assurance they will try and work reasonably fast, although the volumes are large and everything. So we had a cordial listening. And I made them understand, I'm not really interested in an acrimonious relationship and this and all over the place. NUGS in the past have been known for always being all over the place and the rest. And I told them we are working and representing the interests of students. So they should just do their work so that we also do our work. And we ended the meeting in a cordial that hoping they will do their work within reasonable time so that students can go on with their lives. We received a written response from them on the 17th. This was even after I had followed back and everything, because I told them I wanted a written response for the record. And they wrote back to us on the 17th, letting us know they have released some of the results after the first round of vetting, and they are still on the second round and the rest. Now, it's been a whole month. Yesterday was the 4th, which means over 30 days since we started engaging them. And you are not seeing the head and tail of the thing. Parents keep calling me. Wards are calling. The parents are worried about the mental health of their children. Very psychologically disturbed and all of that. At the end of the day, we took a decision to conduct a full survey to see what is actually happening, because they have written to us that they are doing something. So, and we put out, I tasked the Legal and Student Affairs Committee of NUGS to start collecting complaints. It was, the phone was ringing off the hook.
Baby Omujanti, Yanko, the Minister for Education, na Yanshe Ora Haruna Idrisu Sama, or the Etuja, Omran Sam Betujano.
More importantly, you raised the issue.
So after that, we met at the National Secretariat and we took a decision that yes, we have given NUGS close to over a month to do this work. We have given WAEC over a month. Now, where it has gotten to, we have to set an ultimatum. If you can't do the work, why did you go and take the work?
Yes, but Danny, first off, we need to clearly understand the level of work WAEC force omo eye. And upon having a personal engagement with them, what were the reasons?
They're talking about suspected collusion.
Yes, so suspected collusion, in which specific cases, say students, a copy, and now say
exactly. So I'm about to say students, results, are similar, and this and that and that. And I even drew their attention, sir, but it's the same teacher who is teaching them. So if the students, they all look at the result, a particular case, and they assume, say, this is the answer, and they all work in that direction now. Why do you punish them for writing similar answers and this and that and that? But as senior colleagues, they were making technical arguments. They have been teachers for years, and they know how to detect these things and the rest. And like I told you, we were not interested in going into their technical issues.
Okay.
Ours was that release the results within reasonable time. And when you are cancelling results, also give the people an opportunity to be heard. We made that very clear. I don't know, sir, once I can copies of the correspondences we wrote to them, they wrote back to us. We had them, and in there we have detailed everything, including making sure that the students are heard, and even putting in place an appeal process to be sure that you don't just be a law unto yourself, because you have enormous discretionary power. And it won't mean, sorry, I can say, the chief invigilator about around and your council results. It can't work that way. And we made all that clear to them. You see? Now look at the mess that has been created with all of this. Almost all the public universities have already closed admission. So if you release it today, what are they going to do with those results?
I see. But from the word go, they are not showing cooperation, Anna.
You see, for me, cooperation is not about you smiling with me and telling me, say, oh, yes, oh, this, or that. Cooperation is that you said you would do it, you have done it. Sanka, Yakushia Omuma Assurance itself, they will work at it and make sure that the results are released on time. And we will not be where we are today. But to somebody, it will be as though they have been cooperative with us, because when we wrote to them, they heard us, they invited us, they met with us. It was cordial. But it is not about the cordiality and everything. It's about the work being done. If you need more men to finish the work, get more men and finish the work. But you cannot put these young ones through what they are doing under the guise of investigation. That's what
somewhere last week, I mean, we were made to understand by YX, they are still in an engagement process with parents. And Oko Kumase, for instance, there was a lot of parents Omutropo in at the regional YX office, Kumase, somewhere last week. Now, YX Mayeti, as he said, parents they started engaging the students just to listen to the student on site. Now, I mean, the rationale behind some of the things. Again, Wayek have said they went further to even engage the parents themselves, just for them to have a fair idea of why Omunkwala no ya withhold or more results. No, and I mean, are they not on the right track in making sure?
Not at all, senior. You see, antics it won't wash anyway. The parents didn't come to sign any contract with WAEC to register to write exam. You invite wards to come with their parents to vet and see what is happening. When they come, you ambush them with a test. I don't know whether you heard what happened at the regional WAEC offices.
They ambush them with what?
With an exam. You see? And when they got there, you come. Then you say, okay, it's as if one person says, one copy, you test with the I mean, what is the basis of that? It happened in Takra, it happened in Kumasi. You can talk to some of the parents who went. So the parents decided to boycott the whole process. I mean, you can't do that. If you don't have evidence on the particular exam the person has written, release the results. If you have evidence, cancel it. If you cancel it, you should know that the person has the right to sue. Because you are not a law unto yourself. You see, WAEC has operated for many years as an authority unto itself. What it says, the chief examiner can just walk into a center and see that 1 or 2 or 3 people are copying or something and just write a report, say, you can cancel the whole papers of the art center and it will be done. And nobody challenges it. For many years, these have been how they have operated. It looks like that unfettered power has gone on. But you know that today, everything is challenged in court. And that is where they are having the challenges in understanding, say, every power that you have, which is the discretionary power, must be subject to the Constitution. You cannot do what you like. You see?
Very well. Very well. So, I mean, in this instance, what would be the next line of action by NUGS? I mean,
our next line of action is very clear. We have made it clear to them that they should release the results. We are hoping that we don't have to occupy their offices, but we will if we have to. As earlier this morning, myself and my executives, we have started planning, and we are not going to wait until the 1 week comes. We have started planning on the mobilization. The tertiary students are ready. The protest we are going to do is not just going to be the affected students who are going to come. The tertiary students are also going to join because it's a union. And in a union, we solidarize with each other. The tertiary students and the nationwide, I'm getting my regional coordinators ready. We are going to mobilize all the tertiary schools across the country, the senior high schools, and we are going to protest in their various regional offices and the national office. And we are going to call for the removal of the head of Ghana office because the ACN it lies with the backstops with the head. Because if you are sit down for all your officers to do this and you say nothing, then at the end of the day, you are going to face the brunt.
Very well. So that will be your next line of action. That
is it. Then we have given ourselves a 1 week ultimatum. So we have started mobilization.
A week from today, and from
yes, a week from today.
From today.
Yes.
Very well. I'm grateful for your time this morning, Danny. So much grateful.
Thank you.
Daniel Colley, Boche, National President for NUGS, speaking to us on the sidelines of the misunderstanding between WAEC any NUGS itself. I mean, some students WAEC for a withholding or more result. Quite an unfortunate one. Last week, it was a chaotic situation. The regional WAEC office, Kumasi, Ashanti region. A lot of parents in the call na wamonte say about the situation. I mean, WAEC for a hoodie or money result. They don't know. They do not know when the result will be released. In fact, they don't even know. I'd say will be releasing results now and I see a tremu outright. I say same Kwalano for but we'll speak to WAEC shortly na yeniomo edin komoni a better understanding of what is really happening, and then the engagement thereafter with a yet NUGS then akwakobani say I say still nothing much has been done about situation for this say 52 after 7 Kessben 92 now share live on Aseda TV meeting Mr. Speaker. I'm highly grateful and pay for your time, but before that, Mamin Kai was my numbers, 0550567 929 0550567 and no any numbers are me de a juma and pay and all the messages no ba you can kind in ano at the amount and check Babija for no ebetinasi Awa Muhammad of the New Patriotic Party will join us. Then TT Katino of the NDC will join us. Dr. Ramsey Inosa of Movement for Change as well will be joining us later for the big conversation. Na anope yenimunyano Eddie and Komo Abom. Now there is a move to organize a national forum on education by the president, just as he promised within the first 120 days. Obe making sure economic forum ebekoso as we speak. There is a committee or more planning the economic forum. He gave us a promise. Same way, idea said the educational forum will have to happen. Now, Yatimia has said educational system, no structures are within our educational sector. Will find very good and amicable solutions to it, and it will come and have those conversations. Plus, the many things that happen and maybe circulating on social media. Quite an interesting one. Some judge finding it easy cry. Proud to approve no Endra in the chamber. The CCC will come back to it. And finally, the speaker has lifted the suspension ban or they told the 4 members of parliament so those and many more are the issues Anope will be Kessben 92.9. Mamin Kwahomane Sombra na mene Clement Akulo any and Komo Parliamentary Network Africa. Clement, what to make a good morning at saying?
Mpacho Yamiadom Yamoye.
And I trade the pass, I don't permit me that, and I'm a tone catch it. Is it where you mean a man?
Oh, sir, Mr. Speaker, I'll buy with you. I couldn't idea. To see the young Conquan.
Is it the second term media young Conquan?
Young Conquan.
I see. But we there fine. Parliamentary Network for more to say.
Yeah. Parliament wanting to hear that.
But you are 10 years, right?
Yes. Yes.
And what is the next line of action? Then I'm over my end.
Our 10th year, no, share Mukena. Say, only say, Ghana Parliament in Kwane Juma. Yatrea Shemo, who call Sierra Leone Parliament, who call the Gambia Parliament, and the Kikawa, your footprint, but this time, no, you pursue a tremo, cover the whole African continent. Now, Juma, you Ghana, ne, West African countries, ne, tremo, the whole of Africa, still championing open parliament across this particular regions. Now, this whole year, no, we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary, and there are a number of activities that are lined up to celebrate our 10th anniversary. Now, a beer no, you better launching launch here. The Bama want to celebrate Amuzumude, Mahmoud Beteche, Namapushi Akoy Nimkaka.
Very well. We have volunteers, Hamamu.
That's great.
But a quick one, Yenin Komo, the Speaker of Parliament on Friday, MK ruling, or there are a lot of sanctions and a buy. I mean, for the incident that occurred on Thursday evening last week, issues a buy before the appointment committee of which the speaker wasn't so much happy. Upon the ruling and upon backlash from the minority and a section of Ghanaians, Endra speaker said, suspension banner or the 4 members, were withdrawn. In parliamentary proceedings, are these things done?
Yeah, that's a big brave. I think the withdrawal of Mr. Speaker, the withdrawal of the suspension, was not exactly because of the backlash from the public, but it was as a result of appeal from the minority leadership and backed by the majority leader as well. I don't know, and you say it was a backlash. If there was any backlash, it was on the back of the minority rather, and we have had occasion to lead the Ghana Parliamentary Monitoring Organizations Network, that is GPMON, to issue a release in support of Mr. Speaker's disciplinary measures. It's in about 16 civil society organizations at the Omusashesa Katanase Speaker Basso. If there's any backlash, it was on the back of what rather happened on the day. We didn't get some solutions to it. Now, Mr. Speaker, I take it that decisive decision to discipline the members of the vetting committee who were found to be part of that chaotic scene. Now, that disciplinary measures, swift disciplinary measures, it is some other the appointment committee, and at the Hubi and a Shrubi about and yes, Anka, the following day, similar thing would have happened, because even in the morning of Friday,
yes,
who said na Anka nemo be because a suchi bia eniho na almost say, there's no leadership, there's nothing, between I had the omope. Your boss speaker and abasupa. Now, I so appeal no ebeton in him, as a father, you did join to a show, you took the trip, and I said, the offered those disciplinary measures, and said he wanted the citizenry to know that these are things that we abhor, these are things that are not normal. We nyama some measures would have to be taken at that point in time to assure the public say we a standard. So that message went down very, very, very well. Now, I think what he wanted to achieve had been achieved. The people have been remorseful, because not before the minority for that apology and appeal yesterday. We have been on record to have said, it appears the minority and those who were involved have not shown any remorse. Say, adia omoye any idea efata. It is anko grievances bikwana. First of all, you apologize for what has been done, because honorable members do not behave that way. You apologize for it and say it is not going to happen again, it was a mistake or something like that. But we have some grievances. Nanka ya twaso, but enrano enu timisi emomuji to mu say the course ankoni ye. Ama afenyo Maakye ankasa has assured everybody, the public and the speaker, say sadie no NCBM. Now they will have other measures, or they will use reasonable measures to vent out, and that was positive for us. I think a very, very positive outcome yesterday. Now, it was also good, say, as a leader, or share, would be a say, the econo and kuni. Now, it was bringing a very bad name to the Parliament of Ghana. Parliament of Ghana, IGB, a man saying, say, a ban of democracy, any parliamentary democracy there, moya there. Now, say, at the time we were even doing our inauguration,
yes,
look at the number of presidents around Africa who came to support us. It's a need dear Amademaye, who say, Ye Kuyanim Awo, Sa Kabima Minkebu Amamuimu. Now all of a sudden we will be destroying our fabric with this kind of behavior. Nanka Enyadea Echaye. It's yen dear, you feel say, no Kwanso Anno, Omodi Jantoaba, they have been remorseful, Omono and Omodi Jantoaba. And as speaker or opinion or parliament, no, Ajiatum. Yafano, sir, Nansono committee na yate say omunye omujumano. That committee must work. All the terms and references that were given to the committee, it must work. Yakacho almost say they should watch the video, they should go back and investigate and identify all the people who were involved in that particular chaotic scene. Now, say Edima will be a situation, Edima will be no, say Edima, and I can say, civil society organization.
That is where the challenges are, because I mean, what's a committee? Say, woman come back and play footages and show the see now. I feel woman professor, I mean, recommendations and. Based on their findings, they'll be able to proceed. Now, why do you go ahead and, profess sanctions against the same people or few people who might have been part of incident at a CEA, even before the coming into force of a committee in Ejuma or Mokakoye? Now, is it not being predetermining what has actually occurred? Obeka say, yes, we have video footages, but as I say, money panel so fair hearing. Is this whole thing not dead on arrival? Because what punishing the panel? A koya chopani idea by muwasa withdraw punishment, So now the question is that committee in the report in the bar, what becomes of it and what happens afterwards?
Okay. So say the measures that were taken by Mr. Speaker are in its place. Just that the communication at the same time. Sankaje Sadia and Kami sure say you better the principle of what he did as yet. Because first of all, there are two things that he did. First, to reprimand people who were supposed to be at leadership position, people who were supposed to be in charge of the disciplinary measures in Parliament and as a committee especially. And then secondly, to now go into the investigation of what went on to reprimand or discipline the people who were involved in that event. So the first one, Anka no bar separately, and Sana Oka say, okay, I have done this. Then now to satisfy almost say Nyama to surcharge those people and to make sure say those things do not happen again. Nanka Wama the second referral to the committee. But because the communication also on that same day, in that same hour, it is a bit confusing. Now let's come to the first one. We share the appointment committee makeup, about 11 members, about 5 of them, almost a little, about half of them, leadership people, more leadership. So you talk about the majority, the first deputy speaker. You talk about the minority leader. You talk about deputy majority leader. You talk about the whips. That is the chief whip. That is the majority chief whip, minority chief whip, and even some very high-ranking members of the parliamentary system. So about the discipline in parliament, it rests on the shoulders of the whips. Wow. So for the whips to be found to be part of what was going on. No?
Yeah.
It means that you are shaking your responsibility. Now, say, the leader, most of the time, no, or more leaders, no, they are the people who are supposed to bear responsibility. He took responsibility for what happened because he is the ultimate leader for his side. You know, he sanctioned these people, and now I'm for say, why did he sanction this for and left the other people? So the majority chief whip, minority chief whip, second deputy minority whip, and then Hassan Tampuli, who is a former minister. Once you have been a former minister before, you are at the higher echelon of the society of the country, because you are experiencing that kind of high, or you have earned that high profile in the country. But you know, you can't debase yourself, you can't debase the parliament that you are serving and all that. So these are leadership people. He thought, say, the axe must come on them first of all, because he is the first person I reprimand. And Sana, Mako, even I start asking questions, and Sana Mako down to the people. I think that was the message that was sent for the first people. Now the committee had a task to now investigate the cause, the chaotic scene, what happened, so now you are giving hearing to those people. Say, anything, and all those kind of things. And then Yamana said, because they are going to be surcharged, they need to take inventory and make sure that everything is captured. Then a recommendation will be given to Parliament, to Mr. Speaker, because every committee of Parliament is at the behest of the Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker's committee, it is almost the man advice. Say, then a decision will be taken on them. And I didn't say to ad hoc committee, say, those committees, including the privileges committees, they're informal. Someone will say, I don't think I want farmer privileges committee. Only 3 committees have been formed. The selection committee, appointment committee, and business committee. International committees will be informal. Now, before our communication, order 5 of the standing orders, which gives him the power to be able to interpret the standing orders. Now, taking some measures which have not been explicitly stated in the standing orders. Order 5, Emanisa Aquiniano, Emanisa.
Very well. I'm grateful for your knowledge shared. Maybe any other said in combo. And Oracle is with the Parliamentary Network Africa, speaking to us and bringing us to exactly 11 after 8. And this is Kessben. They teach you a electrocardiogram, ECG, the travel scan, no, near share wakoma, no, near share problems are a wohoning in an pacho, a idea NUGS Herbal and Scientific Research for Edimu Akotini Yepa, now one bomb on some more din ye, and pay so wood yeme na opese oye ECG scan no ebia. And pay baby SSL do any channel, NUGS Scientific Herbal for Asweye. Woman kwa ana ebeje na afe womwaye ni nyina no ediama. Womobo ewo form enti anopay ko na onyo munkodin sawo so. Afe eba no physiotherapy. Womo ewo center so ewo honoma. Womo wall equipped machines ebetimi aboa ma the essentials of therapy SSL ye ni nyina no wonsa etimi aka rehabilitation machines ahodo ni nyina no womo ewo bi ewo ho. Afe wo pese dietitian services and wo pese you be edi to diet so na afi wo body system no or regulate wo nuane ahodo a wo bedi na wo moboa ma hoden sonko eba ma wo healing process no eye ntempa dia anopay NUGS Scientific and Research Clinic ana esese ode wani etimi echre ebeboa wo ye pa na me kan say eba no bone diseases nso a NUGS edimu akotini ye enti anopai wutie mi a bacho ko na woni wo mo enkodi enkomo omo numbers no eye 0244 120 269 0244 120 269 Ubankran ya womo was Spinters Road behind a year Rainbow IT and afe electronics building no Taifa udru a year Spinters and so obehu behind the Rainbow IT building no enti anope ko na oni omunkodi nkomo kumase womo ahema kokobe anope NUGS for other Roma ana womo ene ye ejuma ebo mamenko na mene me ofa enkodi nkomo mra Ora Jonathan Asante Oche, a political analyst and then a senior lecturer with the political science department, University of Cape Coast. Na adope meneno ending komo. Over Maakye. Na empom to say. Yes, me too. Over. Bibi Aboko.
Political analyst, not with the political science department.
Okay, all right. But that's it. Well, correcting me on that. Now, Bibi Aboko there. And I tell you, passes so the young consul chair. Now, I don't pay first of Mamenye earlier impression on President Mahama Memu so far. And Dra was exactly 1 month. I didn't see a konyaso. And we initial impressions on what he has done so far in office Oh,
I mean, somewhere last week, I'm saying either on TV or on radio, and I'm a cast. I am expecting Global Info Analytics polling about the approval rating of the president and as to whether the country is going in the right direction or not. Now, just about is it second or third of this month, and I'm reports about and minimum I gave the president about 80%, and Ghana for the donor, Amupoli and 84% approval rating, and 80 and 84, the University of Cape Coast, and then 68% say the country is going in the right direction, as opposed to about 22% or so when President Akufo-Addo was in power. And so, not only me, but Ghanaians in general, according to Global Info Analytics, the country is in the right direction, and that the approval rating of the president is 84%. I gave him 80.
Now, interesting. What it means is that Ghanaians are most satisfied so far with the SEC, right?
Yes. Oshe and Kofo as ministers of state and power as CEOs. I think so far, especially those who are in the public limelight, ministers like the finance minister, which I predicted he did that. The minister for agriculture, I predicted he did that. Energy, it was so obvious. As for Attorney General, I didn't talk about it. The moment I elevate Oba Penny, is it Henrietta Brew or something like that? So
Marietta, yes.
Yes, to be a presidential staffer or advisor or something of that sort, legal advisor to the president. Then I felt that definitely the Attorney General and ministry, and then Dr. Ine with the experience of 30 years at the bar, the accolades also bar, and he's handled big international cases as well. So you could see that it was the right choice to take that place. The Meme Kakana Meshusha Kamuna said there should be some wild cards because I had to say, more year we know that are for no, I do say because obviously they were in the fray in opposition. They were in the fray, and therefore they deserve those positions that they've been given. At first, an education minister, Haruna, I thought the president was going to give the ministry to Professor K. Udru.
Okay.
And he gave to Haruna. Now, when he gave to Haruna, I had my own reservation, but I sat down and realized why he chose Haruna. Because education very complex and complicated. Yes, very complex. So, in as much as you need someone with technical know-how in that area, you also need someone who is very versatile. And when it comes to versatility, you cannot beat Haruna. You cannot beat Haruna Idris. I mean, it's just so versatile because he was able to handle trade and industry. He handled, labor, employment and labor relations. He handled communication also. So that it means you are talking about someone who is really, really versatile. And maybe he's going to add someone with technical know-how as his deputy. But you could see asking the right questions in terms of the real beneficiaries of the free teachers, looking whether to enhance the loan training colleges and probably look at the allowance, which one is more effective, which one is more efficient. And then there is this education dialogue which the president had already promised to look into, education and have thorough review of the various, sectors of education, from primary to pre-tertiary and then probably tertiary as well. And then an appearance who said the minister is asking them to also consider a sustainable source of funding for the free SHS. I think that if we want to keep free SHS as a nation, sustainable funding is very, very important. Very, very important. So that come ending quality senior for the past 7.5 years or 8 years of implementation of the free SHS. I mean, parents were not able to talk. Masters were unable to talk. They only spoke through chats. And today there is that free, fresh, ideas that will help.
Hello.
Doctor. So, therefore, you need to, yes. And the Biana have been a protocol of me one so protocol, a medicine. Medicine. That's an open protocol number because mean to me, quiet, Nippon, as no. Speaker.
Yes, very well. But that will lie in more break. A quick one. I mean, the president promised few things within the first 120 days. Okase Obe take steps in ensuring an economic forum at the national level has been organized to ensure the position of Ghana's economy. He said again the same thing for the educational sector. As we speak, there are committees were put in place to ensure you better organize a national education forum just to reconsider the educational structure of our country from the kindergarten level, Ekwakosi tertiary. Then there is also the formation of the Constitutional Review Committee. Again, Oba a year PMMC, NF Ministry of Finance, They've also come together with a committee for the establishment of the Ghana Cocoa Board. And putting all of this together, no, I mean, are Ghanaians supposed to have some level of hope going forward, Anna? Hello? So unfortunate. Over lines, end to me, so the network is not really helping. 23 minutes after 8, I have Kessben 92.9. Pacho, your numbers, 0550 567 929. And no any lines are a jumba. This one says that, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Please, I pray God protect you for us. Good morning to you and your team, and thanks for the good work you are doing for Mother Ghana. Thank you. One for Woody I'm Ghana Edway free. Kwafo new Mairana at the airbar. Or say MPs are fighting, police are fighting. Now footballers are also fighting. Hey, I'm Ghana. What a country we live in. Thank you for a message. This one says that, good morning, Speaker. Indeed, you and your team are doing a great job for Mother Ghana. God bless you. Haruna, you sent in that one. Thank you for a message. This one says that, good morning, Speaker. Okay, thank you. Mean to me and kind way. Kobe sends this one. I was a good morning, Speaker. The Speaker should have been bold enough to keep the sanctions on the 4 MPs. Indeed, that is what Ghanaians expected him to do. What he has done is just a reversal, and it will just brew impunity within the parliamentarians. They should have suffered the punishment that was professed to them. Thank you. Kofi Rich sensing that one from Edris. So we come to 25 minutes after 8. Go for important. I said, I'm watching.
Chebeka Hwasem.
Bibia fine.
Nyamia Dumara Kwame. Bibia fine. Kwame.
Yes.
Enra on send ye can esa allowance in Hwasem.
Yes.
Kwame a generative debate. Benin pass the reason why NDC 4% say a cancel allowance. Kwame. Ghana 4 should bear with them. It will be a political suicide, like I said yesterday. That Muhammad should have promised, say, Beba, I will maintain their allowance. You understand? Because he did not restore it. But say Obe maintain, he should have said it. Cry. But say it back in the West. Let's say Kwame Okasi will become Ghanaians should bear with him. Because Udimari Kuntia, may sure pass the reason why the National Democratic Congress, led by President Mahama, had decided to cancel this allowance. They realized how the government, the past government, struggled to pay the allowance. And they know perfectly well, say, I'm sure a Bambia and that's a new patriotic party. In their next campaign, they wouldn't promise to restore it.
Yes, Mitchell was here, but Jinasoma Menamia Jumay Emra, Mamene, the latest acting CEO in town, lawyer Eduji Tabakulo, Enin Komo Emra. Council Maakye, congratulations.
Mr. Speaker, and a prime minister with you for the actual phone in answer, and then Wabua for more studio on so.
Wabua for the material for the answer, Edjo. So now, Bibi Aboko, dear NPA treaty was saying.
What the other Roma, it's barely a week in the hot seat.
Very well. You're taking time was settle. Was settle about best now. Why? Now be but
any opportunities are more my opposition politics. Make I say my last media engagement or encounter was with your platform. Na sadani in combo memory. We are determined in some na me do combo memory opposition. Yedini na bebe.
Okay.
Your social contract your Ghana for no. We have and then
very well. But quick one, is the party and the government on course for especially the first promises are more than within 120 days, and Yemani be a moka be accomplished, I mean, so far, what can you say? Is the NDC as a government and a party, on course to delivering what you promised the Ghanaian people?
Once again, Sebi Obi a Oshobo, Oye determined, say, Obi is our bullshit, no so. On all the timeline, editor so. Sebi, and me know Eddie and Como. I make ask you, Mr. Speaker, Echna, not Ama, Echna, and yet Archie, Echna, and no. It is a Kobaso say, yeah, campaign. Near the chair Ghana force within 120 days upon assumption of office. That's barely 4 months. It means we are determined because if your 120 days requires mathematical precision. So it doesn't lie in your mouth to say 120 means 100. First, to demonstrate that commitment. Oman Penny, Boshe say, obey you see only 60 ministers. Now, the conversation that came up, a bit so, 60 ministers should not include regional ministers.
Yes.
Obviously, we Oman Penny say, minister is minister. Once I watch about, say, 60 ministers, and 60 ministers, plus including everything, 60 ministers.
Yes, I do.
That's, 45 of them have gone through parliamentary vetting, leaving a few more to go. That alone should tell you. Okay, so within 14 days, of making sure the cabinet is in place, I can report confidently, say, we are on course to achieving that. 2, or can say 120 days, or best setting up a committee to advise the government on the way forward, particularly on pre-secondary education. I can say confidently, say, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, as Minister of Education, has already sworn in the committee and very soon will start their work. Professor George Odro Eda and no other. But say Ghana economy, it requires the FN of inclusiveness.
Yes.
Seven. Umpe company obey no finance. On one they give. Okay, knowledge is vast. Yankopon answer, yes, me answer in answer South Africa. Inti MP, oye the FN of fertilization. What I say, run that you go school here, baby pollination. Exactly. And your money be. Yes, idea, Dr. Feno, honey. A young be the womb in the money yet, Dr. Yes, and yes, exactly. Now, save you, Papanum, Nanum, our can Kessben, almost say, you just and maybe no Mrs. Sana Ayaday, actually. And I can remember, Yananum at the star of the Bono at the actual side, you will say, save you. And then you come back for an uncle Pondy glass in answer at the man. It's in the answer table. Mr. Speaker, about the Kanaki. Obiso Becca, Mr. Speaker, Mena no Yaki, and Waso, because of this superior view. At the end of the day, we have built a consensus. Yes, the way forward for secondary education is this. Of this, H. John Dramani Mahama has said, it has come to stay. On the core issues of governance, said you can say, a idea as we speak, Attorney General of the Republic, and so to an among the including but not limited to the fact that Obi Johnson Esiama, the newly appointed governor
yes,
of the Bank of Ghana. And let me place on record, we share the constitutional provision burden on the appointment of the governor. It only says that the president, in consultation with, what I say,
yes,
one can say the president with the prior approval, because who said a idea the senior after your marking the article be abetuga and a letter to command any about Mr. Esiamo. The constitutional provision under reference does not talk about prior approval. Into OSHA carefully, the constitutional provision on appointment of minister uses the word approval. Approve. The constitutional provision bordering on appointment of justices of the Superior Court uses the word approval. Approval. The Supreme Court in the seminal case of G.H. Mensah and Attorney General was quite clear. Said the use of the word prior approval is not a term of art.
Okay.
It does not connote any technical meaning except to say prior approval. And prior approval simply means you require the approval of B before the action can take effect. So that is distinguishable. In the case of the governor, it doesn't use the approval of the Council of State. If in the superior wisdom of the, and you see constitutional text, you are a student of the law, just as I am. Constitutional texts are read as a whole.
Exactly.
And in order to ensure internal consistency, the framers uses impulsions approval and impulsions consultation. That's what I say.
Yes, I do.
And the two are not the same. The two are not the same. So, Malene Senior, with the greatest respect, should not be misreading the provisions. Because in the letter that he wrote, he gave an example using justices of the Superior Court. What he failed to say is that for the justices, the Constitution uses the word approval of Parliament. But what I say?
Yes,
and that is why when the President is done with everything, the justices of the Supreme Court must go back. What I say? They must go back to Parliament for that prior approval process, without which no validity is conferred on them. That is fundamentally different from the issue on appointment of governor.
So in this instance, the president has not erred in terms of law.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, the president, having been soundly advised legally, proceeded to do that particular appointment.
Okay.
But what I say?
Yes, I do.
In fact, OSHA President Anadu Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in appointing Natushi as the administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund, he did the approval of Natushi much before the consultation process. And you see, consultative is not binding. And there's significant legal text to that effect. But what I say?
Yes.
In fact, OSHA, the case of Ghana Bar Association versus the Attorney General, when President John Dramani Mahama appointed Justices Waman and Justices Yao Apao, the Ghana Bar Association proceeded to the Supreme Court to say that the Judicial Council, and that one is upon the advice the Judicial Council has recommended 4 justices and ranked them. When the ranking got to the president, who has the power to appoint, what the president did was to pick not in order of the ranking made by. So for instance, the Ghana Bar Association did the ranking 1, 2, 3, 4. So the president chose from number 4 up. You get the point I'm making?
Yes, I do.
And they say, no, once we have ranked them 1, 2, 3, you can only go by that ranking. The Supreme Court rejected the position and said it is an advice. If the recommendation becomes binding, then the one doing the appointment is no longer the president, but the person who is advising. Do you get my point?
Yes, I do.
Because if you do the ranking and say it is mandatory and that it is binding on the president, what effectively you have done is to say that the person who did the ranking is the one doing the appointment. It takes the power of appointment from the president into the one doing the advice. And the Supreme Court authoritatively rejected that proposition. Much the same with this scenario. So clearly, the Honorable Alexander Afinyomake Malene Senior has completely gooped on this one, but it's permissible in law for you to err.
To err, very well. I mean, if you are to mark your own script, I mean, in the last 1 month of assuming office, how much will you mark yourself? Not your fancy.
What I don't usually like with marking is that when you are marking, then you want to have a situation where there are a scoring mechanism.
Okay.
And you see, what the president is doing is a product of the mandate. What the people went to the election and, as it were, cast their vote and gave him a 1.7 million vote difference. So usually I prefer that the one doing the score, the one doing the marking, should be the good people of Ghana.
Very well.
You understand? So that, like we say, Nemo Judas in Casa Swa. I do not want to be accused, I'm part of government now, of judging myself and behaving in the manner that, what shall I say, leaders like Bokassa were accused of. I will leave that one to the sound judgment of the people of Ghana.
Very well. Council, Anope, I'm highly grateful for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, too. And that is lawyer Eduji Tamaklo, acting chief executive for the National Petroleum Authority, speaking to us, bringing us to exactly 41 after 8. Now, Awa Muhammad Atunase on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. Titi Kachino is a member of the NDC, and Afrin Ponziga Atunase. He had in Komodia Hodoni Nano. Bro, but how will you rank President Mahamad's performance under 1 month in office, and then within the first 120 days there's a lot he promised and we'll come back to it now. Yatimia has said the achieve it so far, just making the track of it. Mamema awala chi na memano akwaba awawaji na empom to say
nyame adom na wo se
erade de enkwachi
ene de montimi anka acknowledge say me ba ha
na afi ne de agroba fie wo so bo fie awade na esa and they will drew her no more 820 and I'll be drew her pepe
esoro ha no
there be esoro I say what say now who was here wa be dem who say wa ba now I only count say one bar because one for soro ha
it already about
and then ona di kan
say your opposition definitely I was saying nya kwan na ya bantem na yetimi
yes there awa but we are fine party
mo boy joma party mo boko yeguso a un said the committee na ya set up say homo hwehwe de ye lusu ye no eguso a omo ye adwuma no nti ye twen se omo time no beso ye ma omo 3 months say omo nye adwuma no within the 3 months omo be report to the Akoma National Council na National Council I take a decision on me ware shemu se ohwe and some na koni proposals and crofo we ba no we may have to go for a constitutional review na ya review your constitution no na ye de normal bi ahyehyem asan say BTA lawyer Justin Kodia Frimpong.
Okay.
I align with your kind pepe say expand it your base especially electoral college expand it na say obi a why polling station executive or constituency na also to abani why da why polling station executive yetu abanu ya yine free so but wa serve some party no inti ono no so constituency ono still ye party adwuma no da so MPP mu kwa da o say yetu abai o to be obi a former MP our constituency or so to be obi a former DC o say are who say Manchia South so mu ye bibi no Manchia North even South and then minu ka say ye party ne say na ejine say omu ye elections e o Manchia South na puntimi to abani bi ye ediafa regional executive sa onto abani bi ye ko national kra na ye flag bearer kra onto abani bi. It's disheartening. At least a former MP, former DC, former police station executive, former constituency executive, former regional executive. Omunyina you are expanded. Now omunyina and to be, even though you're over 200,000 people voted, but at the constituency level, we said nipa be 1,002 pe. And eto. It's nipa 1,002 na ebeti ma maintain sa 200,000 na 555 no. But at the constituency level, okoba beti sa so asia nipa be 1,200 and eto. Inti no former police station executive beka ho, former constituency executive beka ho, former DC, former flag bearers in we your friends appointees who free sa constituencies no eka ho a we say expand ubekwa na be 3,000 people no more to aba. Inti no ma obi mbegina ho nka se ye beto aba no asumasi a wo no kra no oye police station executive keke no ye adwuma chen no na so obi ba ye no omaniska obi ba no omanisei oba efie ho kra no ono na obehwehwe no wa behwehwe yen essence won se ono na beba beto aba no it me feel say we no free general secretary ono kra say last 2 weeks me baka no wa ha say former executives am your regional constituency executives ma omonto but me say general secretary so di na no tum no me hu say emodru eno no ebe trigger a constitutional review or say ko review your constitution no say na eye 1 Hansen committee in 2008 I can say expanded na 55 for coordinators and ho no I ko our constitutional review no I expect to say we know so after that our constitutional review no na dia shame normal be brain microphone so aka me hwe se na beka ho na review na timi aboa na ye grassroots na omubufu ye no obi abehu say they are all involved on betima ye adwuma
but I say mame emra titi so nana
30 seconds. Mr. Steph Facheme. Mr. Moon. New Patriotic Party. It mupa mu free say. Mu set up a committee near the report bar and the Bama NPP win election.
A part of the rebuilding process.
It shouldn't be part of rebuilding process.
It
wouldn't ignore to anything. Let me tell you something. Kwame, what lose election 2208? You set up a committee, you lost 2012. What set it up? President Mahama, NDC set up a committee in 2016. After Kwesi report. Did they win 2020? NPP upon winning the 2020 election, they set up a committee. Say they did not win how it ought to be. So they set up a committee to find out a normal NBC. Were they able to win 2024? And even the committee, did the proposals of your say. Amendment of committee a constitution is an annual delegate conference. That's why you have to go. Let me tell you something. Sub committee report about the bar. There are some people who want to be edited to suit their political career. It is happening.
Nana.
Meba.
2020 no. Anka ye implementing normal work committee. That's what I'm saying. It is a part of the rebuilding.
That's what I'm saying that political parties should go beyond committee to find out what
in the absence of comment in the damn
open forum the back today. That is what is happening because you Kwame uko ayawaso ayawaso central. Okay, good. Somebody is 50 today is going to work or Kantamanto committee for Abahefa no Mukosia. We then go to the ward meeting. If I was not able to come to the ward meeting for the committee to meet me, what will be the next step? Do an open forum. Man, confirm the card.
It's part of the things I can't say.
Finish.
Part of the things
part of what?
That's
what they are doing.
The party committee report in the bar. They edit the committee report. Obiti party office. Ebi ano opera election. Adia ne ba omo pese committee report no Kwame. Adia a person me obiti edit to suit their political career. What I'm saying is do the open forum. Forget about the committee. You know why LPP
the committee is moving around every constituency, meeting people.
Didn't they do the same thing 2008? Didn't they do the same thing
2008?
And didn't they
we
do the same 2020?
Did the reformer and Yetimi really 2012 elections?
You want 2012 elections?
One should they see what court?
My goodness.
It was 5-4.
You formed the same thing.
Four of the judges can say a winning.
You formed the same thing. You formed the same thing in 2020. Were you able to win the 2020 election? Kwame, you formed the same thing 2020. Were you able to win the 2024 election? You are not able to win it. Kwame, do the open forum. Tell you, do open forum. Oya open forum constituency bia microphone and conform the kasa. You understand? Start compiling reports. Ahona dia wo kasa and conform percent ye be electoral college no Kwame ebeba. Ahona abehunu say party executives youth organizers omo compare djuma mo amu call for the jiwo musika ansana omo dia mom ne ebedadi. Ahona abehu say jombo do initiative ideas bia omo say communicated to say wawa month be amount 5,000 Ghana cedis. Say na won saka ye behunu na won sanka ye behunu party ye fa dey say chairman na sika ba bedu omo ho no say sika na wai omo so omo saka bi bia di nkomo. I said it on my program and they started calling me say na ba na me nya 1,000 Ghana cedis. They make an watch say e be say me nya 2,000 Ghana cedis. Do the open forum. They will come and mention names. There are a lot of things. A man pair. Your friend say a parliamentary year. Oma bo su from Habesi oma bo him. Kwame, a stage so platform so mo campaign. And confirm free say a new swadi some omuko didn't have daddy. Now when they got trust I do a report.
All right,
Kwame, do open forum. Do open forum. My constituency for them na mekasa.
Ombekasa.
And the teaching imagine.
Mr. Speaker, good morning.
Good morning. I'm
Nyamiadumu obodi de ache nti. Yesu yenya no anapay say yesu betimi akasa.
Ahode wo.
Nyamiadum, ahode wo.
E da twedi ampo ase. Aban mo kosen, party mo kosen.
Oh, boko say say I dey to hoka say ye be within 120 days no no na Jomahama hwe say obe implement ni nyina. Say obi nya GDA kakra wo mu a na ode ne show sa bosha wo share no obe make sure say obe di so when timi ndin nyina so kra na obe di substantial amount so amane hu say unya akonya na obe yiri nyina nti ye de believe say niama akoso already no kire say it is possible say ye betimi amake ye 120 days no promises I man na ye bedi so amagana for any achi because obi pk ade ba ko mi no pe e 100 days de ebe enimu enu ntu no to my nti ye be try say niama ni nyina no ye be ye ama Ghana for any aso.
Now we are told the party for no be na happy with the level of appointment. We are even told say Ochina there is a crucial neck meeting of Basu headquarters. And something in them be
Speaker. Ye nyina ye call around
the appointment they call ye Nkrofo Suli as those who are expecting it are not getting it.
Yeah campaign no ye nyina ye kai say Jomahama si obey 60 ministers. Ye nyina ye jitu mboa.
Yes.
Yeah, because ye nyina ye believe say ebeboa ama e reduce stress e war public person so. na afei ewie na nipa ne yi nkrofo na ebi beka nkrofo bi eninje challenge me want to say he can promise and appoint everybody na obetimi appoint omo in his own he thinks they are competent.
No party for no his own and no party for no because for instance encrophobia or honoma omo ye known faces a party for na nkasa nim se sa nkrofo we dia omo aye adwuma. A very good example is yourself. So wo titi wo hai see ma appointment party for do bebre na no appointment no betimi aso wo so am wo no enya a very good positioning. It is a wo ye bo wudi nobody will have a problem. But in a situation ye nim se titi abre na ye be ma titi appointment ye hwe anim na ye be titi sulia. I'm just mentioning your name for an example. Na yakofo obi a onye known face of the party, and the party people are saying say sa niema ya mu ye nyina e happen here opuni mo time crofo so mkotena cocoa board for over 3 hours opuni mie ni office mom. You've heard some of these things. Enti no say second term yi sa na mo san ye ne dia, then it means that there will be a problem for the party in the future. And then crofo crack can run newspapers here report say to an extent that as you don't get the list near their two baby. I mean, what is really happening in the party?
So baby I enjoy it. I was saying nipa there. Wouldn't say why you juma. Who expect to say appointment?
Yes.
My omunwi.
Yeah, check over.
Omunwi.
Uncle Titi. Chan ye check
omunwi
papa ye wo mi nyina na ye de madam
o sure say papa na sa
baby ankwa de wa de
before ye nim wo nye campaign brother
as appointment yes as appointment as ya check wo dem
mu starting with ambassador redeem ejuji tamaklo nipa be 5 bi
ye no faces
na no bo nipa be 10 na account obi anim wo
me no faces ni bibeba
party for ni kasa wa wo ya we medim say ma make kan wo ya we
party for ni bibeba me sure say nipa dia referee or ho
enti no china mo ye neck na
neck dey maintain
neck dey mo ye neck
because of that
crucial one yes
okay me maintain no but if it is so there ebia
and the president himself will be at the neck.
They want to call some things to order. So in politics, in America, no. Yeah, go campaign na. Obi awo nipa o promise to say munye juma ha ye ba be ma o say. Inti si ye wie na enko sa na o hwe de e ko na tonne kwan so a. I was so ultimate friend na ka say o masa. Ye no kan same way. Ni say. The eduru ye hu say emma inti ye be ndai. Maybe it is good to call that meeting. I must say, "Ebe watch na no meaning." But say, "Ebe so sa no so a ebit me ama na ba ne ho so say, "Oh, ampa bia na meka ye." Enti ma memfa we emma mo. Enti o de entwen kakra. Me feel say, "Die wo ho no." Ne aka no.
Etiti abiti.
Crofo
edos. Etiti abiti na ne cha. Na egrofo.
Na me ka se bi cho
Uncle Titi wa ha ono na de bia de ye ye mani bia nim say at least
ye na ye se be ka flow bi kra ka se onko ne ho yes
na ye be si na Titi de ma ya ye nyande
ti adukoti ameka sa ne se Kwame Uncle Titi wa blue fought ti atma make you enye radio so
kwa
you have fought 8 years one kasa ti wa you are born you are NDC person Kwame de bia ya kasa asem say adwene enye obi di sika shedam udu sika shedam na di pia bonten no
obi anya campaign
ka be da wiki I don't want to listen to that and the sika no de boy u sika no de koto aba no enye sika de koto aba no you obi a be shot somebody
yes.
That's true. Look at people are protecting the ballot box.
Exactly.
They are also part of the it. Ya organize will be watina kabushi from Bagatanga but the southern part of the country or Corrali. He's part of the campaign team. Kwame. Emamunya sadia no amoya no. Sha. Eblobi black starlet camp. Because my chanki titi. On my man home so black starlet on my camp. Ena abrate bi efe no ofosu Appiah tiko no bobo as good
that's the thing
omo blast talent camp ho ni a drop Joe Louis Just the chair in your drop Esmelado. Hey, I've had the chair near drop Stephen Odro, Coach Afrano, and one on one packing on no manner. Was that so? And a Coach Afrano said, now, of course, now make a headache. I drop Esmelado. I drop Stephen Odro. I drop Joe Louis. I'm going to make it. And then I drop him because they are better than me. Someone's for some papa baby or son or pay and koye. There are some people ankititi. And some communal positioner. Omu kwanya bi Jamaican watch as a seven.
Yes.
Na yeni a work from. Anybody you have to fight. Obianti no foko.
They say no.
People have started fighting.
As at Nura, I had an intel say they say regional chairman ne kra na lead campaign in the respective.
They be sidelined.
Omo ba presidency ye momo betena ho for so many hours.
Me Jubilee House. Jubilee House.
Omo ba kra the list e dey aba say me region ni mu enkrofo ebo a me ma me ye adwuma ni Mr. President. Chief of Staff, mon consider these people on my list. You be my regional chairman na betena ho sa. Obu ho kra wo president kra no asan akọ. Yes.
Yeah, some. Me dey still I make say Ajubro. Me sure say you be check amana.
Yeah, bodro. Said you be abo be hwehwe mo ne mani.
True.
Yes, but mo anya ne sa dia award go na ni abre o 2028.
Yeah ba.
Obesa aba power.
Say obi abe na juma, but say the mo kan sa ankrofo aye juma. And people need to be rewarded. Normal.
Sa abantie ya owo oboase ya onu sojani ikoye.
Yes.
Just imagine risking his life.
Omode no kwachi
now what next? What next? And
MC.
And Kessben.
MC di omo from and Kessben.
Oboase.
Oh, Oboase ni no man the Kessben.
Awal pa.
Omo man here.
Aketi to abre.
Ejuma dey ayebi.
Ejuma wa ye bi pa.
Ayebi campaign.
Me hu aketi nya ne o. CTV Accra FM besi ha nyina.
Me dem ba Accra nyina ma debate for 8 years.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure say enche bo betimidi. I'm sure.
Amen.
Na nya won kon so ne
obi atie ha nti eja ombeti akase one power. So say Bible no mu kra na edu baby na ye hwe obi ye hu no obi na ekopie baby no boni do say akwa we di nka e wo say owo han nti mwaka ombeti Kessben there so
I'm going forward. Party executives.
Yes.
Going forward. Say all the political parties, if they can amend their constitution. Now come on function say, oh your party executive. Next all be position a fashion trim says a power bar. You still have to stay in the office and work. Kwame, e beti bi aboa.
Na we dey ye kra no na me make catch obi say. Appointment in Kenya simple. Na Afrimpon. Who original chairman in all the 16 regions, right? Original chairman in them Crawford, or the omo ye adwuma, on the campaign coordinators of the zones to baby. Yeah. Until they say appointment 10 now they my region be give it to the regional executive.
What's that Dr. Baumia Kanye say?
Yes.
Constituency be
Emra.
Yes.
What you say? Mo confirm on Crawford the Emra. The Ebeka no afi me president no me ankasa nso me Crawford eboa me at the national level. I mean it makes the whole thing simple.
You see, previously that has been the norm.
But you say the encounter
that has been the norm. I mean,
regional chairman na subject list
previously nonka there's an appointments committee here. Regional executives is submitted list edeba. I consider among no and some ya competence.
And pass on the message by.
At times
at
times so the nipa back back now so post when our permanent. Now the person doesn't qualify now. They will come back to and so Charlie. Nipa we out the buy the qualifications and the competence any. My father don't call him Monanka pay people for Besha man I do way. All those things were considerations they cost in the past. But this time I say there's some kind of a cover up group being no more year appointment and yet open to say first no. And internet start agitations way sorry. Be sure say young Crawford start can maybe they will open up and then do what has been the norm in the party.
Very well. But I remember so I will bet you for 10 minutes. Now, Mamintio on President Mahama's first 1 month in office. In fact, I was going through the 120 days promise. A lot of them looks to be fulfilled. I mean, one after
on the face
other.
of it, yes.
Yes, on the face of it. Okay, so Mamimo Bobiso na yen to asuning kobono in free. So the first point, number 1, nominate within first 14 days the complete list of cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval. Second, constitute the leanest and most efficient government. And only the government in and settled way, so we cannot say. 3, establish a robust code of conduct and standards for all government officials. And also, hold a national economic dialogue until there is a committee set up in place to see to it's a national economic dialogue. Now, 5th, within first 190 days in office, scrap the following draconian taxes to alleviate hardships and ease the high cost of living. Until e-levy, COVID-19 levy, 10% levy on bet winnings, and then emissions levy, and also but I don't know, see within 90 days. Obey. Now, within the same 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agricultural purposes. 7, commence drafting needed legal amendment and prepare for the implementation of the 24-hour economic policy under the office of the president. And also, I'm told there's an appointment made for that secretariat. Okay. Establish an accelerated exports development council. And also, convene a national consultative conference on education. And also, set a committee or more making preparations for that. Implement the no academic fee policy for all first-year students in public tertiary institutions, universities, colleges of education, and nursing training institutions. And these are a few of them. I mean, Obobokosua, Bebrenano, Ewo Hodomo, Mamintio, na yeto komodiene so.
Speaker, me that's it. Mami Sanchez for na near for na menkasa me that's it for this opportunity. Enra, me nya kwan ekenkan Musa Dankwa, Global Info Analytics ne post now cancer or yeah no. Was say or the enamiansa na ye or the 3 days and a year. 3 days no or free be our phone so and a be so or a one-on-one interview. Na nipa makumako 952 and I want more a dinkita home. Now out of the 952 no more kasa nyina no 84% essay or minor ekoye na omo eji President Mahama dise obitimi aye adwuma no. I think say I had wished say anka obetwen after 60 days.
Okay.
Because we share post now where now that time we post no na President Mahama enya 1 month.
And that was 1 month.
Exactly. Na onya 1 month nti na I was wishing say anka 2 months. Na ye the ISR full assessment and all say by then now start I will take some decisions.
Yeah.
I don't think na dia working kind na kaso we utimi we wentimi anya we so guso we so otimi ne na keka ho. Intene o ka say wentimi anya you're not being fair. Because or can say within 120 days and obey normal makumi enu miensa. Eluntra mana me feel say obetimi atono boase na nkawaye but say the Musa Dankwa the obeka bia no or say jutu Musa esan say the oka in the past be abam and definitely was aka bibisa na was say jutu but when say in any survey like this no it dependent questions are ubisa nipa no question na questionnaire in the bechere sometimes a the answers in the kika be sure say anka obisa question about security. I mean, this is President Mahama ebitimi enya up to even 40%. Esan say omo winning elections we throughout the period from 7th December ekopim tama ye handi over money nyina no na violence erupted everywhere to the extent na Ghana for one say o contest elections what winning na didn't know say normal. What winning elections and the ABA will lose no and the bit my say no man or say no ni both in penning for but what winning elections na what could boo a warehouse ano na was said duane no akọ nadmo office no obuani no osisa duane ayawa so east na obi o ho de obetima so TV na so TV de obetima so computer na so computer na omde akọ so eno no eba ni security before handing over na eye west what we expected from him at that time nisa anka okasa mu a akabetimi aboa on the 7th ye handi over okasa mu echirechire mu se violence and shada enni kwan bia wo so na yinim se bibia to din a bibia etimi aye then o started the ministerial appointment pe ni krum a o ye MP for 12 years Bolly Mamboy the first place a omo ko hihye ties e won ne papa fie anim so omo hihye ties adenti na wanfa interior minister ama omo MP because o can say obema ni MP no ministerial appointment a ye interior minister efiri ho eba we ne ba eko ho NDC supporters can say e was say ye fa nipa no neck account so say ampa say Musa Dankwa ye sa ni hwehwemu no obisa omo about security a be hwese anka ombeka say President Mahama security there he's almost going to fail because obi ani o ya che no so omo ye anwamu nsam nyina no obi ani ho a ya che no that is one. Two is that appointments I can say obey and no correct say or can say within 14 days obey the cabinet ampa on the 14th day say me control Facebook say 14 days so within 2 hours enemy who say
the final
list number and then no otimi born home again we can say obey 60 ministers up to now yentimi nkyere say wafofile sa ayena na so onfofile essence won say all realigning ministries no or can say obey ministries makoma 23 we 23 no announce ministers one announce 26 3 ministers are omo ebeye adwuma under his office omo ni sa ministerial no enti eno no ene say ye the 16 na ya aka 18 eno so mai nti enim say 18 no exactly 18 ne beba ana say emma ebe ne saying ne keka ho ebe broso ana say embroso nti obi etu mirika koka say wafufile ne 60 ministers nse ne edugita makulika yana enye no krese wafufile because the ministers no complement no mi why 45 meboa nti aka 18 boy 40 something maybe aka 18 45 so yeah train
including regional ministers
so yeah train so we know so final list no ebe matter say you submit ama parliament nti yeah train say omo be announce no ma start sa no nti for ministers ni dey onye ministers na odo ma ban a lot of them were technocrats e be cry technocrats so e dey achire ache so say o share on the face value na o share nipa ya form as ministers na energy why energy adwuma na che to the extent now a deputy minister health even though I can't do any background on health omu yi lecture edene ba as a spokesperson on health no he was doing a lot of agitations in the keka even though keka no ma bebre utimi say because I want health person or can say COVID-19 ba no or can say nipa bewu de dabonten these are things I can say your porous nature of your health in the keka but fortunately we were able to contain it in the keka but at least he has been talking for more than 4 years as a spokesperson on health and a health minister again young people should be briaba me share you know we original ministers now, the average age around 60 something years. But obi a one yini chen obi a Dr. Rashid Pelpo as on the age no ekosoro. We was 50, 40, 30 something crying na anya ministerial appointment. I think say the name sa CEOs na keka hono and agitations no started because you be an bit my minister. Send na titi kato no kano. But appointments go beyond the ministers. CEOs ni omo ka ho no omo na do so pa and CEOs ni yankrofo ni bebe I resign because enra and me say Marcelo Kra I resign into that position is up for grabs into Marcelo so I resign enra e bebe I resign and I foresee almost all of them.
Na Monkrofo no man resign and come because what na ho.
Yeah, untimi nyina di because there is a ruling na ejidita makule di court as nipa no 2 years and 3 years nipa no betimi atena se kopem se obey because wa public services amayaye. Yam building an institution ebetimi amase obi winning elections and nipa no ye adwuma pakra na we ye na free ho. Look at education ministry. You and I in him say education ministry under Adichum is one of the best ministries ayenya. Ono dey a political appointee into oni betimi exit, but bureaucracy na e wo hono e wo say e wo hono moboa Haruna na otimi ye na dwuma. I expect to say eba ni ministry eba ni departments agencies ye benya bibisa enu ntina ama ejudita makole de case no call to say nipa no ho na oye adwuma na o build the institution na owo tenure ya man kwan na on finish ni tenure say na ba bitima boa. But I expect to say enkrofo no almost to be a resign. That's what I expect. Say momododo na ebetimi a resign. There will be a lot of positions enkrofo epe the obre enedie. I believe that there was a omohwe na omoye back wa o kan say obeye o kan say obeti committees omo ebehwe education ombehwe national dialogue that is economic dialogue and in a keka sa committees no de aba na so ade ba kwa e wo mu say o the education committee aba omo hihye da ombeba be hia wo me ene Ghana for dudu na okotena ba ebe ko kan say free no de sa teachers allowance ni de you feel say ebekode you are prejudicing the ABC ewo ho eno na ebema obi atena ba ebe aka say unim the outcome of what you want them to do what sra omo de omo pese omo ye kuku omo enti o pese omo validate the o ye ne keka ho so comment no prejudicial. I think leave it na Ghana for eba na omo feel say yento asuntua na say yinjaya na yajai. In all the make say the personalities in his early days say obetimi ajaje say nipano wayade wanyade ni nekeka ho omako true ministers no the only problem we have nipa mienu a yam approve omo majority and omo dey approve omo start way friends Sam George any Okujeto Ablakwa say if you na what team no airport hills no or rent it for the last 8 years.
Yes, that's mo beside no mamo answer.
When timi amfa document ba kramba Sam George can say 2 years ago ekotena baby ko kan say ekotena delay show can say ne yere or entomologist nanso say onye dwuma otifia wo hwe nkwala 2 years on why super rich to the extent that no na etuano ka etuano ni school fees mano emano
ko kaso no tuano school fees so he will clarify that o say ono na hwe no wan kaso no tuano
ono hwe na ono ende obi hwe wo de
ebi oye du
oba na wonya hwe 2 years ago
na bia wa
why rich to the extent that na show
ebi a wo be otimi tofu o ma but it doesn't mean so discussion
so osi wonya dwuma osi wonya dwuma otifie teteba just 2 years ago osi otifie tetema wonya dwuma bia one ocean regular income 15,000 na etua o kana otibi tua o driver kan say sika no watimi akọ London every biana oko 10 days eko spend e wo hoko school academic certificates I can say fabra ni nyina wan famba documents o mo kan say on be submit nyina o mantimi an submit amba Okujeto Ablakwa say ono edan no rent na o rent no ne katua e na o kan say the regular income free parliament and eba fa tenancy agreement ba onhu baby a tenancy agreement no fa we first ekwan be na ofa so tua documents a ka so de baba bi wo enfamba enu ntina ma enra e kan se nipa a ono aye ne hu champion ata ejina baby ka se we ye krofo we ye ora enu ntina ma usese no ora ne ye hu the integrate domelevo obi bia obi bibi ogana ha bia domelevo will have an issue na ote ho ena ni penny no because Okujeto Ablakwa a penny wo woni Martin Kpebu up to now omuntimi kan wasem say kwan be na omofa so etua ne rent na kwan be na ofa so tua ne rent kwan be na ofa so anya ska bebre obi aka to the extent that Adenta Kumi etna Metro TV Good Evening Ghana eko kan say ne dan na otim ne $3 million ene dia enra Paul Adomo chire aka say e dan ne Okujeto Ablakwa dia or who evidence I just send it there.
Ono di aba na.
Yes, was it but mete ha na okacha me say edan bi esi ba bi na media metimi court ase edu nkete akọ court enye ska a oka se kosia bi nti o di delegate court edan bi si duase wo kumase Emma delegate Morgan Usu koye story no e kan say edan ne ase edu nkete adia. He went to court and had judgment. Oka say ska no kra no ho na odi kosia bi nti e baaye no. So I believe that say kuje to a black ampa say edan warrant here Ghana for have the right to see because obi kra de just a bisia
now see for
Emma National Cathedral she say na otwe na boso omu ye adwuma ena omu hia skadia ya de agently ena odi ni botom sika ma ya wan jinsi hu wanye Reverend Kusibuate wan jinsi hu wanje hu bibia na so kujọ ta black wa say we corrupt Emma Shraj ebe clear ne kan say wanye hum so bia
okay
it is any pano ene wontimi nkyerɛ baabi a onya skasa si sa dan no
but as ya wa Mohammed 18 after 9 my remember Ankotiti so na minti odon so for 10 minutes Ankotiti my remember
on the 100 days no
yes
said the maker earlier no 100 days no niam bi wo ho aye ka say ye be ye
yes 120 days
120 days no na global info analytics report na amaye hu say Ghana fo nyina eta John Mahama echi me de say awal agiatum say niama ne bebre ekoso no ka wie say
enye bebre o 26 say I mention be 4 pe
o kan wie no no ade kv attache chire o ka say I don't know ade kv attache chire but 120 days is not far away intimiji de say whatever we have said say no my America can tell you local no we didn't like 2 months in office or 2.5 no we should be able to come up to say nyamani bebre atona kwem
okay
for instance to say education the abeto educational way no so and also dana kwem 8-member committee on we so and also dana kwem me feel say ministers in the other no kano aka 15 was aka 18 ye. Or what I know is there are a lot of ministries the president I say omunya deputies inti me sure say they will fall in line say a better so amana ye 60 the pepe going forward Ghana for the 2 million shares inti there was say Ghana for G2 be pa no I was see it me even beyond the actual say 100 days no ye be no
okay
because CUs na ye appoint your mono any ministers na appoint your mono it's not just about the 120 days na ye the mobile office no there is more to it. It's also a Greater Accra Regional Minister OC Akwemupo Enura say no echi ono so start you say obelite up Accra.
I was very happy to hear that.
Yes, my only caution I me woman and say Greater Accra all the lights na essence say hona eye adwuma ede ochina the next time we going say obi so afropon eye lights na efiso and the word of caution there should be security to monitor the lights that are hanged now and just had there Accra will be lit up in just 2-3 weeks time no be say drum and yes me na America ye hu bi da on the friend is saying sir N1 kwan yiswa the lights were all up the next time we saw a car ono sukita sa bucket be amounted we thought almost ye maintenance sa omo ye akronfo almost omu lights no so ubisa won say are these really citizens of this country me they say oh yeah no but yeah hwe ha no I was say security so baso
okay
na yetimi monitor to keep Accra lights on motorway is so bad
it's so bad anyone is so bad
na ye bad into me they say e ho no e koso other bits also a problem pa our Greater Accra is sanitation me they say so obobo so
I saw the national sanitation no air
but me problem the Friday no they share you know Friday is a working day meaning say or you person engage workers wo mo adwuma mu ana say because working day into no person engage workers who might be at work But like a friend is saying, Julius Debra time the next Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday day and yeah, excuse said say and I say. Into private companies might not get involved. You understand because it's private, but public institutions there they might be obliged to join. Until me just worried about Friday, you know, but hey. Yeah, can also I can you know, maybe they might sit and look at it. So Friday now, you know, the best Saturday, ne beboa. Beboa in nama sanitation day. But like I'm saying, you know, sanitation shouldn't be an issue. I was said a bind on a put pressure. Your surroundings are bad, and you still live in it, and you are expecting government to come and clean it for you. Me away who feel him. Inti I was say a year culture, a year practice, bibia. Normal my say who feel him the was say clean make I say was it Henry Quarton area clean your frontage by
yeah,
you know it started well but anche and a guye Julius Debra the end there yes some buying no and na a consume me hope say lendo clue air started we no obetimi hold flag na up amma momentum no akonenim akoso krom ayefi. It is incumbent on her as the regional minister to make sure say Greater Accra are clean. Unfortunately, no MMDC is no anchor office.
Yeah.
And also be a challenge because they play a very key role in their jurisdictions, in their municipals and districts. Because omo to mobilize Emma yes in run area, but see I no money hono. Me sure say. Coordinating directors in na Ombe said Jumano until they will take office. Looking at the way forward for NDCC, no, me assure say whatever they have promised or we have promised say no, we'll do our best to do it.
Okay.
First in the opposition, it's not about defending the Obiaka. Me who post be a can say to say the awale can say Haruna preempted the ABC in the education side. No,
yeah.
I've seen another post say he didn't say that. There's a disclaimer say one kasa. You know, media there are times they be at the all kind and now misinterpreted. Don't know what kind there or no few said
video. Okay. Or can say something like teacher training should go away so that we have an enhanced. Already, even the Daily Graphic report on Ukraine, he is not happy with the caption said to go. No, can say teacher training allowance must go. My ready is a disclaimer. No, but what's your story now? The Okan no would transcribe boy. Exactly.
Because Daily Graphic has retreated, said they stand by their report.
Exactly, because the a video will be our.
For me, some time ago, no, I was against teacher training allowance.
Okay.
And if it goes, no, if you look at the cost benefit on both sides, no, teacher training is to be soon say, oh, MY, but yeah, go school, maybe what tech. Those times, no. I'm talking about we call tech. I think 1990. Number tech. Oh, sorry. I was listening. Number of first year.
1990 primary school.
1990 number of first year. University of Science and Technology, and that and then University of Science and Technology. That time, yeah, student loans. That time, the whole year, no, was 90 cedis. Each semester was 45 cedis for the whole semester. But no, and the survive is 3 years now. You could do what tech no.
Okay.
Into me feel say see I upgrade the omunina universities now more banner. I think say it falls in line. I mean, who but
okay.
People have their left and right about it. Say, oh, free money. I need a mom. 290 cedis, they 140 cedis be and 400 cedis be. That's the fight. But why should I fight over 400 cedis if I can get 5,000 or 7,000 as my loan? That's what I don't get it. No. Why should I fight for 400 cedis a month when I can get 5,000 or 7,000? What's it? Anyway. It's another conversation.
It's another conversation to be had. But that's it. But remember an African point. We go from Paul. I mean, too. Not Yanko.
Oh yes, Kwame Appiah Kubi. lawyer Edwardji
Tamaklo.
Yes, Kwame. President Mahama. Obering the election, he made us to understand, say, Baba be fix this country, which is reset the country. You get it?
Kessben.
Aya sometimes a biba. Na say ye Emma yen cheche no mamu too much. The more na ye cheche no mamu na it looks like we are setting a bad precedent. Ye ma bad precedent. Aba be say so on the beach. Ye be kwa de no breaky technicalities ne legalities bi e wa de ni mu a. Afe na aba be say ade na be normal. So you see sa issue ya na obisa no efa Council of State issue.
Yeah.
And President President Mahama issue. The minority say President Mahama who can say or make appointment be say consult the Council of State. Kwame, it is clear. Ura Martin Amidu the President Kofo Echo Court, Supreme Court. Now this is what happened. Mami read Kakrancho. Martin Amidu versus the Attorney General President Kofo say Article 58 or certainly from Article 58 was it the executive authority of President shall vest in the President and shall be exercised in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. You understand? Just a 2 me now. Oko executives now. Ye di 2 me kese di ama oma penny. No mom oma penny betimi exercise sa 2 me no based on the provisions of the 1992 Constitution. That is what the Article 58 in the eka. Eti oka say exercised in the accordance with the provisions of the Constitution now. Exercise media. Then it tells you say Article 91 of the Constitution say the Council of State shall consider and advise the President or any other authority in respect of any appointment which is required by this Constitution or any other law to be made in accordance with the advice or of in consultation with the Council of State. You get Kwame clear and shut.
Kessben.
So Ramatiamidu took President Kofo. Say we are appointing the part 3B, the Chief of Staff Jacob Chebelamte, Madame Elizabeth Ohene, and one security couple, presidency. That's a 2001. Without consulting the Council of State member. Now the country America reset this country. They say Kwame. Ora Martin was the running mate to Atamils at that time, 2000 after the 2000 election. And now you run a sabem. So in 1996, 1992, and in 1996, NDC winning election, when they were making appointment in 93 and 1997, they went by this Constitution and this provision. The American what I say, it is a someone go by this and can run at Nabidu our car by no honor and one country President Kofo say he has heard. So, Ebia President Kofo na boom radoso and yet did him out to this a year. We need to reset this country and go back to where now appointment to be according to the Article 91 say SSA who make sure say the Council of State are aware and you consult them.
Yes, but to cheer
we know we know about consultation. The kind is the president has the right to appoint him. But news reporter Ebaya Echrese wo ye juma. And I can say in the case of Bank of Ghana, you cannot start work until Council of State approves you. There should be a prior approval of the Council of State and sign start juma. The president can appoint you. That is the government of the issuer. Afenyoma Kins de Koy.
I know what something yake.
And I make us say, no. The amma all kasani say, because of the reportage Ebaya Echrese don't say akuyamo astati juma. There is a report so was started Juma was share mpenimfo nyina omo ne omo ye. And I say there be Council of State in ho. that the terms say you can appoint, you have to appoint, send the person to Council of State for Council of State to scrutinize omuma approval and send the panel start ejuma appointment no enfoso bi anim but ejuma na washa se na can say
now is it the case say was start ejuma
yes because
I will assume you
say media reporting because if omo website obo say he is there was start here meetings with Bank of Ghana officials no eno kire say was start adwuma no because say fa wa adwuma no anka obekọ na akohia mpanimfo eno na waka say Council of State elections
no, but in transition in the no, for instance I mean transition ne course no there were certain people almost selected or more
that's transition I don't know you guided by law transition say no you guided by law but when it there obetimi akọ Council of State na obi atwa koma say you are unfit to be there.
Yeah, it's just like
Adjumana was starting Adjumana Obesajai.
Because the Bank of Ghana, the governor na be presser. So we meeting the press. I will not press so that was the day before yesterday.
Exactly.
I watched him on TV. So it tells you clear that he has started work.
Because what China been say Council of State ba no munya compelling reasons.
Johnson in the press and Endra.
And then it is.
Yes.
Yes,
no anymore.
So it tells you say Kwame was starting Juma. So if you want to reset this country, Kwame, let us go by the law.
Yes.
Kwame the Kwame they be America say we share the British Constitution. The Britain for Constitution now. They are made us to understand say Britain for no constitution.
Up to
yes, the president.
Yes.
And the constitution. But you see they have a whole book. It is guiding the whole British Empire, which is consists of Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, and Wales. And they have the mother constitution there. You understand? And this constitution, I'm told they have challenged about 2/3 of the articles in the president woman about the weave the country. It has been challenged 2/3. When we take the Indian constitution, they have challenged every article in the Indian constitution, including the back cover of the constitution. So, constitutional reviewer, I don't have any problem. President Mahama promised, say, we have to do a constitutional review. But Kwame, the constitutional review, no, before we can touch it, we should be able to know as a Ghanaians what we want. The American what matters.
So almost say almost say committee no say committee the
committee no will go round because Professor Mills Diana Amabontina. Some of the year say there are some Libya and for your consultation on the beach by a cachet. And
spent a lot
yes. So before you go out and consult people, you understand, we should be able to know, say, a dear partner Ghana pay your constitution. We should be able to know, say, do we still have to go ahead and amend the constitution first? And Sana, you heard the majority say, young amended the constitution, and Sana Yasako that consultation.
No way arguing because we say your constitution and your 1992 constitution there are several amendments and yet the kuta 1992 na away and no na make say even the recent one Edugita Makuluko or for interpretation of a certain article in the constitution actually say obi called through public service we are now you're appointing as chief executive. The person will have to continue his tenure and sana what me yi na firi ho aban egua ontiminye it is hard to say it say no Supreme Court the aba nti ayemra say o ka say Britain Ghana hakran deliberately yasesa emra ni bebre so anka yebetime hu say efahin na yewo emfumso a yewo say and trench clause in
I think that is the work of the committee. Open terms of reference. The committee is supposed to go around the country, organize forums. People should express their views and thoughts on how certain points.
I don't make us say before you do that, I didn't say Obi bia obeba bia say constitution in your papa. If I in your papa.
But you are aware. Maybe to People have spoken against Article 71.
Exactly. So Article 71.
So it is there. Those are some of the provisions. People have said, say, no independent constitutional body, sir. The president should not be doing the appointment.
That's
so EC, police, IGP, I mean, Chief of Defense Staff.
So these are areas.
These are areas, and some of them are entrenched positions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until I don't know, you have to go through referendum.
Yes.
There. But typically, you have people expressing concerns about some of the
president,
levels.
Every power.
But what we are saying is,
people have also proposed say yemfa a second chamber mra. I don't know be non-partisan. So all of
and say yana nana me bodi na akasam kaka. Na Abubakar. I say you're good at Council of State. Representatives from the Paramount chiefs who be representing. They have their representatives of Parliament.
Even in Nigeria, your friend said the second chamber, no, and even in India, everywhere. Your friend saying regional representation, equal representation, state representation, equal representation. It will say as a ubia or representation also. Into every state, there will be a regional balance. Ubia a bit me. But you see, the Council of State, one of the best. Your friend saying. Systems are here because you see, unitary state. You see, they are not there. Oh, but some men are make us out of
I want
Council of State. If you send a constitution, you're thrown about Council of State. Okay, one of the best. Because you see, every region has a rep. You're electing non-partisan. You're electing because or you're NDC and answer or MPP. To the extent that you tested the post just 4 years ago. I elected E.T. Mensah for Greater Accra.
Yes.
E.T. Mensah, a non-NDC person, but time I hear power no. E.T. Mensah won as member of the Council of State. Who we are?
Appiah Menka.
Makumako 16. Who we are? Na aban appointed Makumako be in Siabia Kahon any chairman. This is where I believe that ye bet me aye we na assembly members no ato aba the Council of State aba. No mun kwa ye juma no. Na amongst them no mayi omo leader preko no ma elect omo leader amongst them na etimi aye na nka interference na aba form kakra media that's what I think.
My rank so na yan rap here for this and that fancy your concerns about this Council of State
me back up na make na say constitution no the review no Kwame elsewhere before you beka say ye touch ye be constitutional review no as I saw mine jitum tie there should be something areas. Like referendum ti say who here see touch your constitution no and second a committee should be set up to it doesn't apply that the yes or no now you can was a referendum and I'm saying that
clauses within the constitution
listen to me and nipa few